PMNation.com.
Now this is gonna be a show.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Hey, it's Brian, and I want to remind you once again that I am passionately dedicated, wholeheartedly committed to this one thing. I start my day and end my night, most nights, thinking about you and how, together as a team, we can disrupt your distorted opinion of yourself once and for all. Now, we're not talking about the watered-down, inauthentic, the herd-approved version of you, and neither should you be focused on that. We're talking about the real you, the true you, the all-natural you sitting at your core, waiting for you to unleash it. So enough head games. No more brainwashing, no more blind spots, no more personal apathy, atrophy, and amnesia. And let me tell you why that's so important. Because the key, the one and only key to personal happiness, spiritual fulfillment, and professional success is to recall, revive, and then release your inner superhuman, your all-natural being, and the myriad natural resources that are hardwired within you. Look, you deserve to live life at the pinnacle, and I'm going to show you how. You were born fully capable of leading a truly spectacular life, and it's my job to remind you of that each and every day. Now, the people holding you back have grown comfortable in their own lethargy, and that particular form of misery loves company, so ignore them. Don't listen to them. Don't let yourself be treated like a pincushion. That said, if you choose to hang out with us, your days of surrender are over. No more self-imposed barriers, no more personal limitations fabricated out of fear, no more hobbled souls. It's time to unleash your inner superhuman. So let's hit it. Bobby, how are you this morning, sir?
Hey, good morning, boss.
What's new and exciting?
Oh, a bunch of things. Just out, after the show, always hustling.
Very nice. I do. I want to tell everyone that we are coming to you live from the Metropolitan Co-working Space in beautiful downtown Aurora, Illinois, the home of 14 Blends. Pretty cool think tank kind of thing they have going on here, where you come in, they throw some stuff up on a chalkboard, and then they let people in the community answer the particular challenge that you put up on the board. So it really is getting an entire community together and seeing, hey, what do you think? What's your gut take on this? So I'm pretty excited to be here. And, of course, I'm here today and tomorrow with my good friend Bob Lockwood from Full Armor Studios. So let's go ahead and jump to it today. I want to go ahead with the early morning meme. And then I got to thank a bunch of people, Bob, also, because I put out a post this morning going, look, I need another term for malarkey, for BS, for baloney, for hooey. Because I want to see what people thought was a good
term. The word malarkey
term.
is not used enough in our society.
All right, neither is BS.
No, BS is used all the time.
Okay, well, let's get to the early morning meme, because you and I are going to argue all day today. So somebody keep your button for Bob's mic. Can I finish? Let me put somebody get Bob's mute button to make sure we have it. All right, the early morning meme for this morning: goal setting, the technical term used to make pipe dreams and other delusions seem official and worthwhile. And I can just tell, Bob, you're chomping at the bit to get in here, because Bob's convinced that my attack on goal setting, and I brought, some big backup with me today, psychology today, psychiatry today, all kinds of doctors and, alleged experts from both sides of the spectrum. So Bob has a contrary opinion, and we're looking forward to getting to that in just a bit. But as I promised, I want to thank some people. Let me see here. Let me load up all the comments. I want to thank Jen. And Jen, I hope you're doing good this morning. Jen gave me some good terms like junk, brain litter. I love that, brain litter, right?
Got me some brain litter.
Brain litter, right? Like binge thinking. You can go through with a huge leaf blower. Blow that brain litter out. I like Jill said caca. Cindy, caca, was a good one, because I was saying crapola.
You were saying what?
Crapola. That was the thing I threw out there, was crapola. But Cindy was saying, hey, baloney, drivel, hogwash. I like that one. Hogwash. Poppycock from Matt. He said poppycock. I dig that. Rubbish from Tammy. Oh, here's one. Ersatz eloquence, which just means the opposite of ersatz eloquence from Kirby, who's probably in a gym working out right now, so he may not be listening. But Kirby, thanks for that.
It sounds actually really nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Elegance.
Yeah, that does sound nice, and it's the contrary to that. So it's diseloquent, let's just say we could use that, or it's just absolutely not true. So I'm digging that. Butch says he likes hogwash. Paul from here in Aurora, he likes the BS term, but he uses the full spelling of it, so I'll let your mind run wild there. Daniel said PC, and I like Lawrence. He just says, why not just call it crap? Why add the ola? Why say crap? Why not just say crap? So I like that one as well. Thank you all for jumping in and helping me with the word.
One of the phrases I use a lot of times is bullocks.
Bullocks, okay. That's good. That's another one for Huey. So here's what I want to talk about today. Goal setting. And here's why. Can I tell you what? You know how, Bob, you've been friends with me for a long time. You know what triggers me, right? When I get up or I see something and then like I'm off to the races with a particular, concept.
Oh, yeah.
So Ashley comes in last night and she goes, yeah, I heard your show today and I just wanted to give you this. I thought, oh, that was really nice. She brings me a box of cookies. Okay. Now, I'm not really sure how far, because I don't want anyone that may belong to this organization, but let's just say we get the ability a couple times a year, I think, to buy some really great cookies from these young folks. And they have a big organization. No, there's no cookies. And I knew you would ask.
Goodness, you're going to bring cookies in the studio with nothing.
Well, I knew, because I didn't want you talking with food in your mouth, so I emptied out the cookies. But here's what I wanted to get to. This particular program is teaching young ladies in the sale of these cookies. Number one thing, what's it say? Goal setting.
No trans fats?
Yeah,
no,
that's what the number one. Yeah, so Bobby's looking at the ingredients so he could see what cookies he didn't get to eat, exactly. Right? Because he'd be sitting over in the corner, if you remember Friday's show, he'd be sitting over in the corner playing Candy Crunch on his phone and eating these cookies. So they're all excited, even top fold of their box, right? If this is a newspaper, this would be in the top fold. Top fold of their box, goal setting. Mm-hmm. So even at a young age, we're training young people, fledgling minds, new minds, not to be content with who they already are. It's always goal setting. It's always carrot on the end of the stick. Nothing to talk about the unimaginable power of living in the present moment, right? It's all about goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. We said yesterday, I believe, Sandberg's poem and hope. It is an echo that ties you yonder, yonder. So what I want to talk about today and have people, I know they can text us if they want. The number is
monitoring the IPM Nation.
IPM Nation. Oh, that's a great point. Tell them about how do you get there?
You go to IPM Nation /Brian Brawdy, and then tick on live, and then there's a little forum on the side there. Contact.
Okay, very cool. And you can, and we can read that right. And you're there, and you're on Facebook as well. Or you can text us 331-684-SOUL. Spelled SOUL, 331-684-SOUL, or 331-684-7685. And I also want to make mention of the fact listener John said, hey, we're going to be able to call into the show before too long. Yes, we're working to be able to integrate Skype so that if anyone wants to give me their opinion, or, you know what I mean, or say, well, Brian, you're absolutely nuts. In this regard, it just won't be you saying that, Bob. Other people can call in and everyone can pile on. And I had a listener just remind me that these particular young ladies sell these cookies only one time a year. Oh. Guess, talk about wishful thinking, right? I thought they came two times a year because these are good cookies.
They should start selling them
times a year. Yeah. Well, here's what we want to talk about today. Goal setting. The technical term used to make pipe dreams and other delusions seem official and worthwhile. Nobody's happy anymore in the present moment. Everyone needs another widget, another success, another bauble, another toy, another relationship, another mindset before they're going to be happy. Always a carrot at the end of the stick. And I have said multiple times, if you got a carrot at the end of the stick, you better check the stick because it's a stick of dynamite. It's not going to yield you what you believe. So I thought this morning, if it's cool with you, Bob, we would start off really great article in Psychology Today. And it's written by a guy named Ray Williams, and the article is entitled, Why Goal Setting Doesn't Work. And we'll go ahead and put a link up on the Facebook page so that people can go and take a peek. But even in Psychology Today, they're saying, let me just read the opening sentence. We all have heard the advice, set goals.
Right.
If you want to accomplish anything substantial, the advice comes, right, from personal coaches, self-help gurus, everybody else that we're mentioning, management consultants, executives. It's deeply embedded, according to the article, in our leadership practices. Organizations talk about stretch goals or audacious goals or big goals as a motivational strategy, performance strategy. Everyone's digging it, right? Only problem is, according to the doctors, according to the experts, according to everyone else, just doesn't work. And you hear all the time, a good friend of ours has even said before, well, there was a study at Harvard that said all you have to do is set a goal and you're going to be the leader. You're going to be the guy that rules the world. You'll be the guy or the girl that rules the world if you just set goals. And there was something in the study that said, 35 years later, they went back and checked everyone that said, oh, yes, I set a goal. And they were in the top percentage. They had their own companies. Everyone was working for them. You know what the only problem is?
What's that?
And let me use some of the terminology from our friends. It's malarkey. It's hooey. It's baloney. It's crap. It's crapola. Right? All crap. Never happened. They ever said, well, according to Harvard, never happened. And then there's some people that say the study happened at Yale, which is great if you want to continue the rivalry between Harvard and Yale. The study never took place. So it's one of those urban myths. What's your favorite urban myth?
Oh, my favorite urban myth. I'd say the Bigfoot one, but I kind of feel like that may not be a myth.
Okay, well, all right. For those people that don't believe in Bigfoot,
I love the
same type of thing. Oh, goal setting, that'll get you what you want, right? But it's contrary, as you and I have talked about, to how the universe operates, right? If you can't, in the moment, unleash that unimaginable power that I spoke of earlier that comes when you live in the present moment, you're in for a rough ride, right? So the article goes on to say that the support for these things, they tell the difference between the 1953 Yale University study, then it's a Harvard University study. But there's another particular book by Aubrey Daniels called Oops, 13 management practices that waste time and money, saying that stretch goals, these big audacious goals, waste of time, waste of managerial skill, because you should be focusing in the moment what the universe, the divine, however you define it, what it presents to you in the moment. But we get so focused, we get tunnel vision, we ignore all the opportunities, all the synchronicities, right? Mm-hmm. All the serendipities, all the chance occurrences, all the epiphanies, all the things that bubble up in the labyrinth to help us along the path of our tending, that we ignore all these things because we have tunnel vision, right? We have a pipe dream. All we see is something going on down the road. So they went ahead, and there's all kinds of different, and again, we'll put it up, another book by L.A. King and C.M. Burton, The Hazards of Goal Pursuit. It's pulling everyone out of the moment. And now we're teaching young people, the number one thing that you'll learn from being in this program is something that is ineffective. It isn't going to help you. So that's the focus of our show today. And as I always say, and then I want to read an article by someone who believes the exact opposite of that, just so we're kind of fair,
fair and balanced.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there. But you don't want to be fair about it. But there's someone, and we'll read that article right after we come back from our break. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here in just a moment. All right, Bobby, that was a quicker moment than we probably originally thought. But like I said, dry run, shakedown cruise, still figuring all this stuff out. So,
by the way, I love that phrase, shakedown cruise.
Shakedown cruise.
I'm using it.
You're using that? Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, here's another one that I wanted to read But I'm not going to tell you the name of the person because I'm not here to throw individual self-help experts under the bus, just the philosophy as a whole, right? So I'm not going to mention big, huge name, huge purveyor of self-help industry tactics. Not going to mention his name. Like I said, this isn't about individuals. This is about the philosophy, right? You want to be a philosophical drug dealer? You want to convince people that the best way to go about is put all your chips in a basket that's down the road, all the chips in the basket that isn't in the moment of the now? That's up to you. But here's what I want to tell you. He goes on to say that living your life without goals and objectives is setting off across an unknown territory with no road signs and no roadmap. You have no choice but to make it up as you go along, reacting and responding to whatever happens, hoping for the best. So let me read that again. Living your life without goals and objectives is setting out across an unknown territory. Bobby, are you able to predict the future? Are you able to predict 10 minutes from now what's going to happen? Are we going to have a power outage here? Will a lightning bolt strike your car? Will a bus stop right in front of us with a group of tourists and everyone's going to hop out with cameras and take pictures of our semi-built studio? Can you tell me what's going to happen? Pardon me?
We would welcome that.
We would welcome, yeah, well, sure, why not? As long as they brought breakfast. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Can you predict what's going to happen in 15 minutes?
Cannot.
Okay, so the future is unknown territory. That's the truth, right? Do you have any road signs for what's going to happen to you in the future, or a roadmap? Anything you possess. Stand up, empty your pockets, put whatever you have on the table. Do you have anything right now that tells you what's going to happen to you in this unknown territory that is the future?
No,
or do you have to make
philosophies?
I'm not worried about that. I'm asking you right now.
No,
do you have a roadmap
I guess
in your pocket? If you do, I'd like to see it. No roadmap. You have to make it up as you go along, the article says. Make it up as you go along. Reacting and responding to whatever happens. What's your morning looking like? Are you going to react and respond to what happens to you in your morning? If you're leaving here and red lights go on behind you, am I to believe that you're going to pull over, see what the patrolman wants, the patrolwoman wants? Right? You're going to respond to what's happening in the moment? So the one thing that he's slamming about setting off across the unknown territory, that's the labyrinth.
Right.
Right? You and I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 weeks, 10 years from now. The brilliance of unleashing your attention, the unimaginable power of living in the present moment, that's what makes the fear of an unknown territory without a map fall away. That's the adventure, right? We talked before, the impromptu nature. Something about to happen is the Latin root of the word adventure. Life isn't an expedition. You're going to die no matter what. You're going to have all the hopes, all the goals, all the dreams, all the pipe dreams, all the delusions you want. Your end day is out there for you. In the interim, in the labyrinth, with all the lefts, the rights, the ups, the downs, the pivots and the swerves, whatever life throws at you, that's responding. And then we respond based on whether we feel it's good advice, something we can use in the furtherance of our time in the labyrinth, right? Is it a fingerprint of providence? If you think back to the Greek myth of the labyrinth in the first place, Theseus goes into the labyrinth.
Right.
Why is he successful? Because Ariadne spins him a thread. And she teaches him how to be able to get out of the labyrinth after he battles with the Minotaur. All I'm suggesting is that Ariadne's thread in the myth is the fingerprints of providence. What we talked about yesterday. Let go and let God. Thy will be done. The Tao follows its own path. Let nature be your teacher. It is what it is. Every religion, every philosophy around the world says it'll be presented to you in the moment. Another version of Ariadne's thread. Another version of the fingerprints of providence. And what doctors and experts are saying now is that goal setting, we get so tunnel vision, right? Mm-hmm. Here's where we got to go. 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 That we don't pay attention to Ariadne's thread. We don't pay attention to the fingerprints of providence, to the messages, the synchronistic messages that the divine, however you define it, Big Bang, Big Breath, science, religion, doesn't matter, sacred, secular, right? Pulpit or petri dish, those clues are coming. Those tips, right? They're coming. Those little road signs, if you will, the fingerprints of providence, manifest in the moment. And if you're so busy looking down the road, you don't see it. Now, I'm not saying we go through every day without attending. We all tend to want to make sure, that we have something to eat, that we have, that our kids or our families are taken care of. There's attending. And maybe people will go, this really is crazy. And again, have them reach out to us, 331-684-SOUL or 7685. Have them reach out to us. Because a lot of people, and I saw this morning when we were kind of debating what we were going to speak about today, right? Everyone's buying it. You've been buying this Meshuggah since, just like these young people being told, the most important thing in life is goal setting. Just listen to the report from Harvard. Well, it's baloney. It's Meshuggah. It's what is it? Crapola, BS. We got a whole list of things to call it. So what I'm suggesting is for the next 20 minutes, what if they're right? What if the experts are right? And I see you over there typing, so I know you have a list of all these people that you think set goals to get to where they wanted to be. I'm suggesting for the next 20 minutes, what if you abandon your goals, your hopes, your pipe dreams, all the other delusions, and focus on what is presented to you right now in the labyrinth?
Well, I mean, I don't know how to even start, because I am very much, I guess, goal-driven, because I've got visions and things I want to accomplish.
Okay.
So, and I haven't seen, you're going to send me the articles or whatever. We'll take a look at them as well. And
are you a different person? I know this, and I don't want to be your the punching bag for this whole episode. But I know right now a goal you had last week has been abandoned because of something that happened to you. You have a totally different goal this week, or you wouldn't be working to produce that movie. Totally different. If I had talked to you 10 days ago, because of something that happened to you in the moment,
right?
Do you not have a different vision now than you had 10 days ago?
Yeah, that's true. We all have had failures, and
I'm not talking about failures.
Not failures, but there's things that you can't accomplish, or you're like, okay, this one's not going to work. Let me just shift and
Great, I love that word.
Right?
Let me just shift in the labyrinth.
Yeah, that's, you call it the labyrinth and whatnot. Just call it life.
Well, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's unknown territory.
Yeah.
That you were not given a map for. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that self-help experts, most of them, some of them, slam is this courage and the vision. You talked about vision on Friday. Yeah. This courage and the vision to let go and let the divine decide what's going to happen in your life. Let fate decide. Now, I have a different belief. I believe in a destiny. I believe that we're all born with a reason.
Yeah.
What I believe, though, is that reason is like a jigsaw puzzle, and it builds in the moment when you look for the tips, for the clues, for the evidence, the fingerprints of providence, Ariadne's thread. When you look for that and you build it, 1 20-minute victory at a time, right? Just like Schopenhauer said, when I got to the end of my life, I looked back over, and it looked like a giant play that had been scripted for me just perfectly. Steve Jobs, you got to be a fan. You have 14
Absolutely.
Different pieces of Apple gear over there. What did Steve Jobs say? Steve Jobs said when he got further down the road, he looked back, and it was all a connection of dots. Couldn't have foreseen it. So what did he do? He had faith that the dots, this is an exact quote, the dots would somehow connect themselves. And that's what he's was busy teaching before he went home. That's what he's busy teaching when he's doing these graduation speeches, is that his life, his professional career, was a compilation of dots that he did not see in the moment, but only in retrospect. Looking back, he concurred with Schopenhauer. He concurred with, say, Joseph Campbell, right? Who said that so many of us are busy living the life we've envisioned, we miss, we ignore, we don't even see the life that is destined for us. Because we're always looking at the carrot at the end of the stick. We're always looking outside our natural brilliance, our natural beauty, our all-natural being. We're looking outside of it because we have some future bauble that we think will make us happy, some future relationship, some future success. But what if for the next 20 minutes, you were just thrilled to be you? You were just absolutely ecstatic and thankful that you're still here. Neither one of us had to wake up this morning. Either one of us could have tapped out last night in our sleep. That you're here and you have relationships, that you have interaction with your surroundings, however you define it. What would be wrong for 20 minutes just being thankful for what you already have? Why do we always have to teach our kids? Oh, goal setting, number one thing, top of the fold. Got to learn how to goal set. Psychologists are saying no. Experts are finally getting on board and saying no. Be happy in the moment, the power of now, the unimaginable power, the ultimate power of living in the present moment. And the cool thing about it, Bob, as you know, it's all we have. The only moment you and I can guarantee is this moment right now. And if I'm wrong, let's just say I'm totally nuts. For 20 minutes, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to believe your inner superhuman. I'm asking you to listen to your all-natural being.
So I'll give you a personal story. I've wrote down things I want to accomplish.
Okay.
And focused on them or whatnot.
Okay.
And out of the list, usually I write 10, maybe 15 things.
Okay.
Depending. And usually I get about 90% of those things accomplished.
Okay.
And those are goals.
Okay.
Those are set up goals. Either it's equipment I want to purchase, or I've got a goal to purchase those items, or there's things I want to accomplish, or whatnot. And for me, I guess writing those goals down, or those things that I say, hey, I want to try to accomplish this before I go home, keeps me on task, because I can easily be distracted.
Okay.
So I guess that's where, I guess I'm kind of I don't want to say opposed to it, but and you could say, well, the scientists have all said, these are the same people that have all said, nobody's ever going to break a 4-minute mile. It's impossible.
No, they're not all the same people, but what I'm saying is you have an entire industry in the self-help that wants you outside of this current moment. Not entire. There's some good people out there.
Sure.
All I'm suggesting is you have a general tending, because you can say that you wrote down your goals, but I know that your goals are different this morning than they were last week, a week ago today, because of chance occurrences. Some of the people that you met, some of the things you've done, totally different. Totally different.
I've shifted my goals, or I've changed my goals.
Okay, so great. So all I'm saying is don't adopt goals. Have a tending, a general sense of where you're going to want to be, as Steve Jobs said, and then let the dots connect themselves. Let them pull it together. Because ultimately, this unknown territory that everyone that wants you to be afraid of, that's the courage, right? That's the courage to face the moment and say, let me focus on what's right under my feet, what's right under my nose, what I know I can deal with in this instant. Let me focus on that, and then let the chips fall where they may. That's the essence. You call it life, great. I'll call it the labyrinth. That's the essence of being alive, because you never know what's going to be thrown at you. So real courage is to say, I'm just going to set out, right? I'm going to set out and see what the universe, the divine, however you define it, what it throws at me. Let me see what challenges come. And if that's way too much for any of our listeners to believe in, give it 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And we're going to go through, in the final section of the show today, a way of incorporating 20-minute victories into your life. But for right now, give yourself permission to just be thrilled with who you already are. No more baggage, no more entourage, no more nothing. In this 20 minutes, no goals. Kick back, relax, thank life for the ride. Be proud of who you are. Be happy of who you are. Don't listen to all the experts in your life telling you, well, you need this or that in order to be happy. No, you don't.
I believe that a lot of people already do that when they get out of work, and they it's beer o'clock. And it's
could
TV
be
time.
Could be.
And so I think there's
they try to escape, I guess is what you're saying.
Escapism,
right?
I heard of that.
But here's what they're saying now. When you set a goal,
yeah,
if you don't achieve it, subconsciously your mind says, hey, you were never worthy of achieving that goal. You and I both know that. You and I both know you were never achieving, right? And what they're saying is when you set those goals, that's what makes it. such a challenge, right? That's what makes it so difficult to deal with, because if the universe decides you don't achieve that goal, there are not a lot of people that go, well, it just wasn't meant to be. Some people take that to heart. They think, oh, I set a goal, I didn't hit it, I must be a failure at some level. And that's simply not true. Simply not true. Just not true.
Well, you have to take the failure. I think failure is not a bad thing.
I didn't say failure was a bad thing.
I know you didn't, but I'm just saying that, I know the experts are saying, oh, if you don't make your goal, you may think. That's what I'm understanding, correct or no?
Well, yeah. They look at the psychological detriment that comes from living outside. That comes from living outside the moment. All right, Bobby, we're going to run to a quick break. We will be back here. It's the bottom of the hour. We got 30 minutes left, and this is going to be a wild 30 minutes.
I bet so.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
All right, Bob Lockwood, Full Armor Studios. Thank you for hanging out all week. It's been great. You're teaching me some stuff. I'm learning slider bars and boxes and microphones and how to do all that. So I really appreciate you being here with us. And we're talking today about the early morning meme of goal setting, delusions, and other pipe dreams. Right? Why not to have them, at least within the context of a 20-minute victory? Abandon it for a minute. And if it doesn't feel right to you, I would ignore me in a heartbeat, right? But here's the thing. I'm on your side, even when you're not. I know about your all-natural being. I know about the superhuman status that every single person listening to us possesses. It's just a little asleep still, right? It's like unconscious. It's in there, but we've been barraged since we were little with things that don't necessarily help us release that inner superhuman. That's what I'm talking about. That and the unimaginable, the unfathomable power of living in the present moment. And do you know why I think an entire sense of consumerism is built up around life?
Why?
They got to be able to sell you a widget in order for you to be happy. When's the last time you saw a commercial that actually had even 60, maybe 75% to do with what they were actually trying to sell you? Think about car commercials. Think about beer commercials. Think about all these commercials on TVs.
And it's great when they mix the two together.
When they mix the two together, right? So here's the thing. It's all pulling you outside of the moment.
Sure.
Pulling you outside of the now. So why do all the experts say, oh, you got to have goals? I went online because I've believed this for quite some time. But what I'm trying to do, and again, learning the ropes of the show, bringing up things so that people can go, well, is it more than just Brian's opinion? Where can I do some of my own research?
Right.
And here's what I found. There are classes, books, CDs, DVDs, flowcharts, all for setting goals.
Sure.
Great. How mysterious can it be? Have a goal of making it to your car by the end of the show, if that's what your goal is going to be, right? There's a whole cottage industry set up to lure you outside of this moment. And you know why, in my opinion? People talk about, oh, wow, is that a conspiracy? Sure, we'll go with that. Do you know why?
Why?
Because if you're happy with who you are, if you're comfortable in the moment, if you're connected to your all-natural being, if you're hanging out in your full superhuman status, you don't need any trinkets. You don't need any baubles. You don't need any goals. You don't need any successes. You're perfectly happy. Then you confront whatever's thrown at you in the labyrinth.
Okay, so I'm going to offer this up here.
Okay.
We're going to take some of my favorite people.
Okay.
Walt Disney.
Great.
Steve Jobs.
Great. Can't use Steve Jobs. Already told you he didn't believe in goal setting, so nice try.
Fine.
Nice try. All right.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he set some type of goals.
I'm telling you what he called them. I'll bring up Steve Jobs. He called them the connecting of the dots.
Steve Jobs. We'll go Walt Disney. How about Trumpy Trump? Donald Trump?
Okay. I don't know. I haven't read a quote about his, but
I'm
okay.
Just saying. I'm taking some of these guys that we may have known.
Okay.
Let's see. George Lucas.
Okay.
And let's see what else.
I will tell you right now, if you read and study anything about film production, which is funny as a producer that you would bring up George Lucas, Lucas waits to see what the actors and actresses give him in the moment. That's what ad lib is. You could say Lucas has a tending. He wants to complete this movie. He has a tending towards how it's going to look. but he waits to see what the actors and actresses give him. He builds it per Steve Jobs, one dot at a time. I mean, you talk to people that work with, let's say, Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd or the late Belushi. Yeah. You talk to them, they go, you never know what you were going to get when the camera was going on. There was a general script, but some of the most iconic lines in movies of all times weren't scripted. The actor in the moment felt this is how the character would have responded. That's all I'm suggesting.
Not necessarily on the acting or even, I guess on the production side. I'm talking more on the product side, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize, but when they're producing a movie, it's more classed as a product, and there's products around it, such as merchandise and all that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I believe these guys and gals, well, no, there's no gals in that group, but I believe these people have goals to accomplish X, Y, and Z, whatever that X, Y, and Z was. Disney said, hey, I want to build the Magic Kingdom.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. He set out in his garage to start doing what? Cartoons?
Cartoons,
He had no vision that he was going to build a Walt Disney Kingdom. No, he didn't.
But as
that fell together by, as Steve Jobs says, his connecting the dots. Now, I never met Walt Disney, so he might very well have said, hey, but he didn't start out in his garage thinking he was going to have a park in Florida and a park in California. It just didn't happen that way.
I believe that.
Okay.
But I'm saying that once things started to come together and says, you know what, maybe I should build a park.
Okay.
And he's always had stuff in his, I have done some research. He's had stuff in his backyard, and he entertained kids. And
all right. So in the moment, he was about making a positive experience for children.
Yeah.
Not necessarily being an amusement park tycoon.
Maybe not.
Right? Okay. All I'm suggesting is that, and again, if everyone's uncomfortable with this concept of me throwing goal setting under the bus, give me 20 minutes. More importantly, the heck with me. Give yourself 20 minutes. Don't buy a single thing I'm saying. Put down all the self-help books. Put down all the tapes. All the, mototainment experts jumping around on stage, clapping their hands like a go-go dancer, right? All the bells and whistles and buzzers of a Las Vegas slot machine. Set that all aside. No mototainment. Right. No, motivation industrial complex. Mm-hmm. The next 20 minutes, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Allow your head and your heart to dovetail. Know that within you there's an all-natural being. You're the one that controls the binge thinking. Your mind is a mind. It wants to run. Right? Like we have a dog. My dog Brash. He wants to run all the time. Sometimes you can't let him. Sometimes you got to call him back. Right? He's on voice command, so sometimes you got to call him back. Sometimes you got to put him on a leash. Took him to Fox News with me last week to do a television appearance. He listened perfectly. Can't let Brash run all over the studio in his dog mind. Same with us. Our mind wants to run, but your all-natural being, your superhuman, sits in a nice, sometimes comfortable recliner with a remote control going, okay, I think I'll stop the mind from running. That's what I'm suggesting. No binge thinking, right? No, I love that. What was it? I think Jen called it mind litter, brain litter. No brain litter. No brain litter for 20 minutes. Wait for your heart and your head to dovetail. What would that mean to you? How would you feel? How would you feel? That's what I'm talking about, is having the faith in yourself. And it takes real courage. You want other, and this will really start in terms of people sending the emails and the other people going, I'm never going to listen to Brian again. God love you. Farewell. Godspeed. I think we set goals because we're afraid of the future. I think there's some people that set goals because they're afraid to see what the moment's going to present. They set goals because they want training wheels. They want their water wings. They want a goal to help keep their sense of balance in the future, keep their sense of flotation or equilibrium. I'm saying the most courageous people on the planet have a tending. They have a general idea of where they think they're going to end up, but they take whatever the universe throws at them. They take the fingerprints of providence, divine, however you define it. They take that in and go, that's a clue. That's a secret. That's a cognitive cairn. That's what I'm going to use to propel me forward. And it's a biological. You talked earlier about Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile. You think about it. Your body can't teleport itself to the end of the street. You have a tending of where you're going to want to be. But in order to get there, what do you have to do? Speaking of Walt Disney, I think it was one of his cartoons or one of his movies.
You've got to
put one foot in, and I'm a horrible singer, but you got to understand. Put one foot in front of the other. Right? Is that him? Right. And soon you'll be walking out the door. Whatever it is. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You can't teleport yourself to downtown Chicago when you went last week.
Right.
Little baby steps. Little things that you had to do. You couldn't tell in advance if there was, in Chicago, you can absolutely tell. There's traffic, rush hour traffic, right? No one can ever get anywhere, right? But suppose that
you can almost set a clock to that.
You can set a clock to that, exactly. You can't tell that it was going to be smooth sailing the whole way down there. Could have had a flat tire. You don't know. You confront whatever happens in the moment. That's what I'm suggesting is the best way to use your 20 minutes.
But you can prepare for those things.
I'm not saying don't be prepared. Be prepared to handle, absolutely. Preparation for what is thrown at you in the moment, that's what takes courage. That's what grit is about. That's being able to get up, look in the mirror, go out of the house or into your office if you work in the home, whatever you do, and go, you know what? I'm strong enough. I'm courageous enough that no matter what fate throws at me. I love Beethoven's quote when he was talking about, what it would take to finish a particular composition or how he would write. You know what his quote was? I grab fate by the throat. Well, there's a guy that had it going on, right? He knew no matter what fate tried to do to derail him from his destiny, no matter what fate, the Minotaur in the labyrinth, if you'll allow me to continue to run with that myth, the Minotaur in the labyrinth, Beethoven says, I'm going to grab him by the throat, right? So that's what courage is to know that you're a superhuman. Forget what you were trained about, how to sell cookies. Forget the goal. Forget all the other brainwashing, all the blind spots, all the amnesia. You can handle darn near anything that's thrown at you in the moment. And the most successful people have learned how to do that. They pivot. They swerve. They take it whatever's coming at them, and they make it work for them.
So let me ask you this. What is it called? The college basketball, what is it called? Final 16? Or no, I don't watch basketball.
That's okay, like March Madness, you mean, when they all come down? Right, sure.
Sweet 16, Final Four, all that stuff.
Right.
Do you think those teams, both sides, do you not think they set a goal of winning?
Let me say this. They absolutely have a tending of winning. And this is where people are going to go, you're just splitting hairs. But I'm telling you, they focused on one dribble, one half court, one rebound, one shot at a time. Because if all you do is go out there, this is a great point that you bring up, all you do is go out there figuring how you're going to look in the baseball cap and the T-shirt with national champions, you might as well be taking tickets up in the rafters because you're never going to win. They do it one dribble. Now, again, I've never played college basketball. Never played in March Madness, right? Never been there, right?
You were cut from the team.
Right? But I can tell you that in that moment, they focus one dribble, one rebound, one jump shot. I love that. It's a great point, Bobby. Imagine you're someone in the NFL returning a kickoff. You have a tending, right? Forget, and this is what I love, because the word goal, a lot of people don't realize this, but the original Latin of the word goal means boundary or limit. Right? When you look at the original connotation of the word goal, it means boundary or limit. All I'm saying is, why limit yourself? Why set a boundary yourself? No goals. Because they know that in the moment, that's when the power comes. Football player getting a kickoff. Yes, he has a tending. I think he would like to score. I think he's probably practiced his happy dance in the end zone in his mind all these times, right? So, absolutely.
Who hasn't?
But he takes it 1 yard at a time. Sure. And if you don't think he does, watch what happens with broken tackles. Watch what happens when a defense collapses on one side, and then you see the guy, he'll run 20 yards to the right, 20 yards back to the left, but he takes what the defense throws at him, in the moment, and keeps moving, no matter what. Because if he focuses on his happy dance on the other side of the goal line, he will never make it there. You take it one tackle, one block, 1 yard, one offensive person you can put in front of yourself to block the defender, one at a time. He is attending. Yes, I'm not saying he doesn't want to score, but he's focused in the moment. He's focused on what fate throws at him to try to disrupt him, right? You got a whole team on defense that goes, I don't want to see that happy dance. He's the last guy I want to see celebrating because he ran over my back. right? So in the moment, you take what the defense throws at you.
Kinda like
all right,
that,
Bobby, I got to keep practicing this. So hold on one second. We're going to go to another quick break, and then we'll be back, and then we're going to talk. We're going to talk some 20-minute victories, if that's cool with you.
All right.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Because friends don't let friends fall for self-help industry tactics.
All right, we're back. So, Bob, any of that feeling right? You sense that a little bit, that if you're a football player trying to score a goal, you take it one block at a time?
I think so. I mean, it's like that phrase, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Fair enough. Now, you might say, well, Brian, it's my goal to eat the elephant. All right, God love you. Yeah, but if something happens in the process that you're not able to continue, you can't control that in the moment. You don't know what's going to happen. Phone might ring. Elephant's family might show up and take issue with you trying to eat one of their family members. Right? Whatever it's going to be. Whatever it's going to be. All I'm trying to suggest, and let's jump into 20-minute victories.
Yeah.
20-minute victories. Whether you schedule them or they happen spur of the moment. Whether you intend them or they're impromptu. It takes real courage to stand up and say, I can handle whatever this moment throws at me. Right? And the reason that I'm confident that anyone listening can handle, right? Beethoven, I'll grab fate by the throat. They can handle whatever fate throws at them is because that in the moment, that's when you tap into the power of living in the present moment. So I guess in a way, I'm kind of blending a little bit of Tony Robbins, a little bit of Eckhart Tolle of saying, that you have unlimited power and the power of now. But they're telling the truth in that regard. I don't know how they feel about goal setting. I mean, I have a general sense, but in that particular regard, they're saying that all power comes from plugging into the now. It's like a lamp. I don't know what Tiffany lamps go for, but let's say you have a really expensive lamp. You don't plug into the outlet. Who cares? To coin one of the phrases, it's crapola, right? It's crap. So who cares? Ersatz eloquence, right? You've got this huge light. You don't plug into the socket. You're sitting in the dark. All I'm saying is the people that have learned to plug into the now tap that unimaginable power, that grit that allows them to say, yeah, sure, I can handle whatever the moment throws at me, right? Magnify the moment all you want, Bri. I can handle whatever the moment throws at me. And you have to practice. That's what 20-minute victories are about. It's about showing you that you have that grit, you have that intrepidness. I read a really great, I'm in the middle of reading another really great book by Jeffrey Hazlitt where he talks about think big, act bigger. But he's talking about the power of intrepidness, right? And that's what courage is, to be intrepid. So you hear all the time, well, it's something a return on investment. I like to think of it as a return on intrepidness. You're intrepid. You say to the moment, whatever you're going to throw at me, fate, I can handle it. And I'm confident you'll be able to handle it because when you plug in your Tiffany lamp into the outlet, now we're talking real power. We're talking a light so you can see what's going on. That's what I'm suggesting. Again, going back to, I'm on your side even when you're not. Because there'll be people listening going, Brian, that's crazy. I have to set goals. I have to do this. I have to do that. Great. Then give me 20 minutes. Give yourself 20 minutes. I'm not saying abandon. Well, I always wanted to go to Belize. Great. I'm not saying tear up your tickets. I'm saying for 20 minutes, give yourself permission to remember who you are and be fired up about it, and then release who you are into your immediate surroundings.
I agree with that. I think it's I guess I'm going to take a position of you can have your cake and eat it too. You've got to, and you kind of said it, maybe have a general sense of where you're going, but I mean, it's just so often so easy to see. Okay, I can see myself here. I can see this thing like this. I mean, I know.
Sure, it's easy, but if I could interrupt, it's easy. But you can't guarantee you're going to get there.
Well, I can't.
Look, all you do is pick up a newspaper. How many people go home in one particular? How many people die in a particular day? They had great goals. I'm certain they do. Certain, absolutely certain. But in this moment, they had the power to live life fully. So we say, I've got this really great goal. I'm going to put all my eggs in that basket. And then you never get there. right? Fate dictates, chance dictates, something else happens to you. All I'm saying is if you've been given this moment, live it to the full, right? Live it to the full. And then when you do, because you said it's easier to see it. Absolutely. I didn't say any of this was easy. I didn't say that this is normal. I said it's natural. Eloquent, which was the word I took earlier. It's eloquent because that's where your true courage comes from. Anyone can go, no, I'm going to sit on the couch. I got to go, or I'm going to work really hard. I love this, especially in the self-help industry, where everyone and their brother now is 10X. One guy wrote a book. You and I have read them both. One guy wrote a book, and then another guy standing up on a video with 10X written on a white pad, and someone else is talking about 10X, 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 10X.
Right.
Like parrots sitting on a pirate's shoulder, saying everything, right? All I'm suggesting is, if you haven't tapped into your all-natural being, you keep redoubling your effort without checking your aim. So you go, I'm going to 10X, 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 10X. How do you know that's not the monkey mind talking to you if you think of Buddhism? How do you know that's not the monkey mind?
Well, let me just explain that, because, I think what those authors and people are saying is if you are going to, if you're going to work a little harder, if you're going to be nice, be even nicer, just 10X,
and I'm saying,
kind of echo whatever you're already doing, but do it even more.
I'm saying don't do that. I'm saying don't do that. I'm saying wait to see what the meta presents to you. Maybe the moment is saying don't work harder in this next 60 seconds. Maybe this moment is saying don't be nicer in the next 60 seconds. This person plans on treating you like a pincushion. Don't be nicer in the next 10 seconds. All I'm saying is if you want to do all this stuff, you want to 10X, you want to buy all these different, I can teach you how to set meaningful goals. Great. Run right out. Run right out. But before you do, take 20 minutes, take a deep breath, remember who you are, revive that relationship, and release it into your life. Because, right, in order to be authentic, and we hear this all the time, you got to be authentic. And then someone will say, well, how do you do it? What does it matter how I'm authentic? Doesn't matter. That's what makes it authentic, right? The difference, right? We talked before. Soul has style. The herd has fashion. You have a personal style, right? A personal style. That's something that you craft. Your authenticity crafts that. It's not based on the committee vote, would be my suggestion. All right, let's see. We got another thing on Facebook, where someone's saying, I need to understand a little better this whole concept of how goal setting and 20-minute victories kind of dovetail if I'm reading the question right. So imagine you're in a situation, any particular situation. You can be at home. You can be anywhere. And you see or hear or you have a feeling. And that feeling is something that kind of grabs your attention, right? The TV may be going on in the background or the radio's on in the car or something else is going on. But for some reason, it grabs your attention. I'm saying run with that. Figure out why that particular thing grabbed your attention. And if in the moment there's something at hand, there's a book, there's maybe an iPad, maybe it's something you could search on Google, you could find in the web. You could do it anywhere. But why did that thought come to you? Why did that feeling come to you? Why perhaps a synchronicity? And remember, when Jung coined the term synchronicity, it really was a chance occurrence. Even the word serendipity itself means something about to happen, paying attention to the clues at hand. Right? What the universe throws at you, then run with it. Run with it until it doesn't feel like it works and go, hey, is this something I'm supposed to use for a future kind of thing, right? I think about when you read some of the stories about Picasso or some of the great painters, or you look now at some of the things they're uncovering, maybe even Mona Lisa. Everyone loving the Mona Lisa. Now they think there was a painting under the Mona Lisa. So Da Vinci himself didn't know what his end result was going to be. He let the paintbrush go where it was going to go. Now you could say, well, he had a tending. Absolutely, I agree with that, right?
So just didn't have enough canvas.
That he didn't have enough right. Money was tight that week, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting paid this big commission, but I spent it all on marble. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be able. Or I spent it on plans for a helicopter. So I don't have canvas to paint on. Point being, even artists like that start and then scrap it, start and then scrap it. They want to get it out of them.
Yeah.
Right? They want to get it out of them. And my contention, right? Our friend Daniel said, you're like when you allow yourself to say to yourself, you're full of it, right? Mm-hmm. Great. Binge thinking. You're full of it. Get rid of it. Pay attention to what happens in the moment. And again, even if we only do it for 20 minutes, right? And I'm absolutely confident that you'll be able to feel that that's the right way to go about it. Don't fall for the consumerism. We talked before about the whole story of the Garden of Eden.
Right.
You know, if there's a fall, if there's anything that we think we should be sinful for, it's falling for consumerism in the first place. Hey, if you take a bite of this fruit before midnight tonight, I'll go ahead and I'll throw in, right? He was upselling from day one. You get bounced because you weren't happy with who you already are. You're a great grandchild of the divine, however you define it, right? As Jason Silva says, you're cosmic poetry.
Right.
Right? Jen Sincero says, I love it. She's got a New York Times best-selling book. You're a badass. Great. I'm in. I agree. I'm on your side, even when you're not. I think it's fantastic. All over it. I just need you to be able to look at that, be able to look in the mirror and go, no, you know what? For 20 minutes, I'll see if he's right. And if you get back at the end of the 20 minutes and you felt nothing, then tomorrow give me another 20 minutes. Give yourself another 20 minutes. This is scalable. This is stackable. No goal other than tapping into the power that comes from living in the present moment. Right? And whether
absolutely
you've scheduled it, right? If it's in your schedule, like, okay, today at noon, right, you're on your lunch break. I'm going to have a 20-minute victory. Fantastic. But it might come spur of the moment. You might be somewhere. You got to give yourself, it takes courage to be able to put on hold what you're working on right now, right? I'm not saying be distracted. I'm not saying being scatterbrained, but you'll feel it. The more you practice these things, the better it gets inside of you, the stronger you become. The more you practice those things, you'll be able to sense it. You'll be able to feel it. You'll be able to hear that still small voice, because it's not going to compete with the static. It's not going to compete with the entourage, with all the craziness. You have to go back to your heart. You have to go back to your gut, to your instinct, and say, here's how I plan on taking the next step. Here's how I'm taking my next leap into the labyrinth, right? Here's how I'm going to confront the Minotaur. All right, I also want to thank Lawrence for jumping in this morning, Daniel as well, a couple different Daniel friends of ours that jumped in. I also want to say, before we get ready to go, I know our friend Jen is going through a difficult time now in terms of an ailment that she has. I wish her all the best. And my friend David Ray Bowman, who had like knee surgery, heavy-duty knee surgery, and didn't really work out as smoothly. The recovery didn't work out as smoothly as he'd first hoped. So I'm thinking about both of you and hoping that everything takes a turn, in the next 20 minutes. Talk about a 20-minute victory. All right, Bob, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get out of here. I want to just remind people that if all of this, any of the things that we talk about make you feel like it can't be true in your life, right? That what I'm saying isn't going to work for you, I suggest it's because you've forgotten it. You've forgotten your natural strength. You've forgotten your natural dexterity. You've forgotten all these other things. But you have those natural resources. You have that superhuman status within you. So don't let all the experts telling you to set goals, all the pipe dreams, don't let them pull you out of the moment, at least for one 20-minute victory. Stay focused, stay in the moment, and remember who you are. So next time, remember all those natural resources, those things you already possess, no matter what the universe throws at you. No limitations, no excuses, no more unhappiness. It's time to bring your great. Grant yourself that 20-minute victory, or 2 or 3, as we said earlier. They're scalable. Grant them to yourselves and see where you end up later. Hit me on Twitter. You can, BrianBrody.com. We take emails there. You can still text me at 331-684-SOUL. Let me know how it goes when you apply your superhuman status, when you honestly apply your authenticity, right, to the moment, Let me know what happens. All right, we are out of here. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Between now and then, have a great day.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
IPMNation.com.